are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Info Media.
Good afternoon and Ramadan Kareem to everyone. Welcome to our exclusive virtual panel discussion on multi-cloud strategy in Middle East. First of all, thank you very much for taking time out to all the audience and respective speakers. Actually, we are thrilled to have you all in this official working day to join us and try to explore the evolving landscape of cloud computing, cloud technologies, I would say, and the impact on the business in the region. As you know, you can see we have an engaging lineup of speakers who will share their expertise on cloud adoption, challenges, strategies that organizations in the Middle East are leveraging to drive digital transformation. So I can guarantee one thing, that the takeaway will be very, very big for you. You can learn a lot from the speakers. We have got five, jewel speakers, and if you combine their experience, it will be more than 100 years. If you can take 25 years each, then 100 years are plus more counting, I would say. So let me just introduce all our speakers and moderator. Mr. Suhail Akhtar, he is senior IT and digital leader who is based out of Saudi Riyadh. He is our moderator for today. Suhail, thank you very much for taking time out and agreeing to become a moderator for this very important panel discussion.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. It's my honor, it's my pleasure to have such an esteemed panelist where I have Mr. Said Fakhruddin, Waqas Butt, and Kumar, and Dr. Samir. We all know each other. We have been through a lot of panel discussions. We have been into the community. I think we'll say that we rather grew up with the IT. And definitely it will be a good session for all those who are attending it online or through webinar. We're looking forward to have a productive discussion. I think there's going to be a poll also, and we'll have a session open to the audience. We would like to hear it from you people also. Do let us know.
Absolutely.
It's a learning journey. We all go through it. We are not 100%, the masters of everything. We're still in a journey of learning from each other. Looking forward to have a productive session.
Absolutely. So following him, we have speaker Mr. Kumar Prasoon. He is CIO Twyn. He's a seasoned IT and digital leader for more than 2 decades and experience in the region in the sense of Middle East, not only in the Middle East, Europe and other regions also. So he has got multi-region experience in multiple industries where, now he's landed in a digital twin organization, which is into industry 5.0, if I'm not wrong. Kumar, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanjay, and it's much more an honor and privilege to be part of this super elite team of stalwarts, industry stalwarts, I should say. And I think most of us were, I think, awardees in our last KSA event also. So it's an honor and privilege to meet all of them again back here in this. I'm very excited to learn a lot from my fellow panelists and definitely share some of my ideas regarding the next generation industrial transformation. Thank you very much.
All right. Following him is Dr. Samir Marouf, who is IT director at Rakaa Holding. He brings deep insights into cloud adoption and enterprise IT solution. Dr. Samir, thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you for inviting me here, and I'm happy to share my views and about multi-cloud in the Middle East, and hopefully people will benefit from our views in this gathering. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Doctor. We have Mr. Syed Fakhruddin Albiz. He is head of technology, King Abdullah Economic City. He's leading the way in the technological advancement and smart city solutions. Mr. Syed, welcome and thank you very much for taking time out.
Thank you, Sanjay, for the invite and the privilege. It's a privilege to be part of this elite team. And definitely we will share our experiences and our knowledge and skills gained so far. As you said, we definitely have more than 100 years of experience as a collaborative efforts. And inshallah, we will definitely share whatever lessons we learned, whatever knowledge we gained, and it will definitely be helpful for the audiences. Thank you.
Absolutely. Last but not the least, Mr. Waqas Butt, Director, IT Strategy and Consulting Service at Alwefaq Transportation Solutions, and he specializes in IT consulting and digital infrastructure strategy. Mr. Waqas, thank you very much and welcome to this special session.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for inviting me, and it's my pleasure and my it's an honor to be a part of this panel. We'll have a very healthy discussion, inshallah, and Ramadan Kareem to everyone. And we will have a very healthy discussion on multi-cloud infrastructure because it's one of the hottest topic around right now.
Absolutely.
So let's
Yes.
do some brainstorming on it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking time out. Before I hand over the proceeding to Suhail to take it forward, just a little housekeeping rule that all the audience will be on mute mode. There will be visibility for them also. There will be no, video appearance, but they can participate. They can do every kind of activity. They can ask questions. There are a couple of windows here. One is the Q&A, another is chat. Either you can chat or post your queries on Q&A. And we'll, after the discussion, we'll try to take maximum of questions. Plus, do not forget to participate in quiz, the poll, which will justify the mood of the audience, mood of the industry. Because based on this, we are going to create a social media post and a big story around it so that people in the peer group or in the industry, they can understand what is going on, what are the challenges, and what should be the plans. So with this, Mr. Suhail, please take it forward.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. See, the topic is very interesting. I'm very excited about this topic. The topic is multi-cloud. Now, why multi-cloud in 2025? We were part of, I always call me, Waqas, Said, Kumar, we are the generation which grew up with the IT. We are still growing up. Why multi-cloud? Even Dr. Samir, I think he's senior, but still, we have a lot of learn from. We have a lot to learn from him. Why multi-cloud? And the reason is like, what excites you about the multi-cloud? And what are the key challenges? That's what is going to be the outcome of this activity. Remember, we are in an era where the data centers of Microsoft and Google and AWS and Alibaba are coming down to kingdom, which we never thought of. We always thought them as an international company. We never thought that they will become a local company, or it will be as easy to approach them like we are approaching our ISP. Now, taking forward from here, I would like to ask Dr. Samir. My question is to you: what are the key drivers and what are the industries driving behind the multi-cloud adoption in the kingdom and UAE? And what are the things why people are shifting to multi-cloud? I would like to hear your thoughts on it, Dr. Samir. Yeah, we would like to have your video also, if you can give us the pleasure to have a look at you also.
Thank you for this question. It's very important. I cannot have the video now. I'm sorry for the audience and for you.
We fully respect Dr. Samir, and it was always a pleasure. It's
for 1 hour only, not in the place. I'm not in my office. That's why. In fact, this topic is hot, right? And usually we say never put your eggs in one basket, right? So taking it from there, we have many changes coming in the region. Most of the customers are moving to the cloud, and that is now the obvious. Nobody is working without the cloud, like it's a must now. So the big cloud operators, AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google, or even so many players are coming into the market, and we know also they are increasing. But as a customers in this KSA or UAE, when they have to select something to join, that is a big risk for them, and there is always a questions from the IT perspective. there is always what we call it responsibility, how to select and what to select, and why we select this. And then, the questions will go on, and what kind of services are we going to get? And then, if we don't have experience, then we don't know what is going to happen. First of all, we will look at the cost optimization, because this is very important for us, definitely when we get the budgets from our organizations. Whatever it is, whatever the organization is, either government or private, it's all the same. And then we have the regulatory compliances, which we have to look at it. And this is a key feature which drives us, to select what kind of cloud I will have, and what will I use in that cloud. And then there is is it a flexible? Is it scalable? Can I go on with my own needs in that cloud or not? And then we can add some features to that cloud later if our company is expanding, or if it's a government sector, can we add more features to that cloud or not? Taking it from there, and then we have to look at the risk mitigation and the business continuity of these selections which we are going to make, or these decisions. Now, when we come to look at the different industries in the market, like if we have financial, we have health, we have gas and oil, we have retail and e-commerce, or we have government sector also, or telecommunications. These all mixed up, kind of businesses or government sectors. They need to have a decision. So the local players have kicked in. I noticed this since many years now, and they are improving now because of the regulatory compliances in the region, and as well the cost optimization or effectiveness of their offering for us in the local region. Now, when we look at it, I have to start thinking seriously about mixing the cloud. Taking multiple clouds now, it's a good option for me to minimize my cost and to comply with the regulatory compliances. And here I can have also flexibility and business continuity with this decision. Hence, the local providers, local cloud providers, they are near to us. If we need to have a one-on-one meeting, they can come to our office and visit us, unlike the international cloud providers. And we can have also price discussion with them. We can have services immediately deployed. So all these features will allow me to have a very high flexibility in my choices when I have multiple clouds. Taking in the perspective that the local providers might not have some services which are provided by the international big providers, which we mentioned earlier, like Google or Azure or AWS. And then here I have to look at what I need and have to mix and match. That will give us more flexibility and more reliability as well, and compliance with the regulatories of this local region. I hope this will give us just a little bit insight why we are going and what are the key drivers for these selections. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Smear. You spelled out your heart and the experience which you have had driving such a large organization, managing the multi-environment, multi-industry environment, and the requirement of multi-cloud. I would like to hear the same thing from Kumar, if you'd like to give your inputs.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. So thank you very much, Dr. Samir, for the great overview. And Mr. Suhail, I would like to take this subject from a very interesting use case, especially when I talk about critical infrastructure, actually. And that's where you have a major employment of different types of cloud technologies. And why? Because you have different layers of data movement by virtue of your OT systems and IT systems and sensors and applications, softwares. So let's talk about a critical case when you have industries and you're talking about doing an industry modernization or a business modernization. So what you ought to do actually. So we talk about a major enterprise architecture organization transformation. We call it EAOT, which is the enterprise architecture organization transformation, which talks about right from the business transformation, the way Dr. Samir mentioned, the business transformation, the data transformation or information or data transformation, IT transformation from the IT infrastructure point of view, and definitely the applications transformation, the business applications. And out of all of these, if you look at the TOGAF framework, the overall strategy transformation. So when you look at the cloud strategy, which actually which is going to relate to all of these use cases and then implement in a longer run, definitely there's a dependency on how you are strategizing your whole implementation with respect to the key businesses which are actually running the show. So that's very, very critical. That's point number one. In most of the implementations that we are doing using digital twins, we definitely prefer an multiple scenarios in which we have less dependency on I should say on the items which are not available, and also we try to create an enterprise architecture where you have a multi-cloud strategy which is already in place. Why? Because we deal with multiple types of sensor units, we deal with multiple types of OT systems, which is the operational technology systems, the instrumentation systems, and definitely all of these require a kind of data harmonization. And also we are very, very careful about the data sovereignty, the data privacy and data security, especially when you are getting the data from the critical infrastructures. Yeah. So from a challenge point of view, from a strategy point of view, it's very, very important that how we look at the subject, right from the data ontology, data governance, data sovereignty. That's one of the major agenda. Second is what are the risk mitigation steps that we take in order to combat these scenarios. And point number three is how well educated the overall scenario is, right from the management, the various types of stakeholders, from hardware, software, technology specialists, vendors, contractors, subcontractors, consultants, all of these together, and how much they are ready to adopt such kind of change strategy. So that's my take on the overall thing in terms of challenges.
Thank you very much, Kumar, for pointing out a key concern or the key area related to enterprise architecture. I think that's a key, the baseline or where the entire multi-cloud architecture will be evolving around. And if you don't have a strong enterprise architecture, you might lose the ball of or the sense where is your data, how is it flowing, what is the cost which is occurring for the storing the data onto any one of those clouds. Thank you very much. My question, I would like to take Waqas Butt, who's the IT director, on board. I would like to ask you, the question is like, how do you think that compared to global market, the regional market of Saudi and KSA, in terms of cloud maturity and adoption of multi-cloud strategy, what kind of feeling do you have it? What is your say on the adoption and the strategy in terms as compared, the comparison is between the global and the regional market in specific to Saudi and KSA?
Thank you very much, Suhail, and thank you very much, Kumar and Dr. Samir. Actually, as I mentioned in the beginning, is a really a hot topic. So we have a lot of things for the multi-cloud. As Suhail is asking what kind of a maturity and strategy we have to adopt multi-cloud is like, KSA, for example, and UAE, we have a lot of standards and we have a lot of framework and security compliances. So it's really hard to compare with the CSPs, the cloud providers, which are already in place. So there is a complete framework and there is a complete adoption strategy which these countries, specifically Saudi Arabia and UAE, they are adopting. So if you go and specifically compare both of them, it's like some kind of a factors we have to see. Cloud maturity, number one. We have multi-cloud adoption. We have regulatory framework. We have to see how the CSPs, for example, these AWS, Azure, Google, even Huawei, now they are available in the region. And as compare how what we are doing is we need to go with the hybrid cloud infrastructure, mix and match. Like, for example, we have a regulatory compliance that we have to keep the data in the country itself. So you have to comply with NCA, SAMA, TDRA, ADAGM, and all the framework and regulations. So you have to compare and see how we can move ahead. We have to adopt some kind of a strategy like that. And you cannot compromise on cybersecurity and compliance regulation as well. So you have to keep it in mind about data residency and also compare with international standards. Like, for example, these cloud providers, they are using GDPR, CCPA, NIST, and other frameworks. So you need to see and compare. But what I can see and I can say as my experience, as per Vision 2030 of KSA, that they want to keep the data inside KSA and also need to interact with these CSPs because of the multi-cloud environment. So you have to be very careful on these areas. And again, there's a cloud investment, which is a large investment for the enterprise, government entities, for hyperscale, and a lot of things are going on. So if you compare and you want to see that what is the takeaway, you have to be very, very careful because of the regulations. That's what I wanted to add up here, okay?
Thank you very much, Waqas, for giving your input. I would like to hear from Said Albiz. What do you think? What is when we're moving towards the multi-cloud, what is the driving force behind it? Are we are we doing it intentionally or unintentionally, or are we going with the flow, or is it that just like everyone is doing it, we also need to do it? I would like to hear it from you, Said.
Thank you, Suhail. It's a very interesting question. First, before we jump into the question, I would like to make it very clear to the audience. When we talk about the cloud, right, we are talking about more than 7 to 8 different cloud services. Initially, people are familiar with the infrastructure as a service. Then we have platform as a service. Then we have software as a service. In addition to that, now we have data as a service, function as a service, technology as a service, and anything excess. So there are many different cloud perspectives in the market. Some places, right, we are totally bound to the product principle. Who decides where his solution will be delivered from? He will say that my solution is hosted in UK, US, France. And we are forced to use such solutions because they don't have local residency. And with the current regulations enforcing that, we need to make sure that the critical compliance requirements of NCA, PDPL, different requirements are there. So we spend more time in assessing the compliance to the requirements on the cybersecurity. And this is one of the reasons when we go onboard a new cloud, this is a critical requirement. But sometimes there are already solutions running on AWS, Azure. It's already running, so you are it's like a forced decision. So most of the people in the industry, in the market, right? If they have an Office 365, you are already on the cloud. Is it our decision to have the Office 365 cloud inside Saudi? No. But we need to understand what is the data going to be there. Some of the organizations, even though OneDrive is available, they have a decision that we will not use OneDrive, we'll use another proprietary solution for the local cloud for the file management and different. So every business has different perspective and different requirements, and it is required to be aligned with the cybersecurity requirements in terms of the compliance requirements. And especially when you are talking about vendor lock-in, we need to be very careful that what is the load you are going to put on a particular cloud. And you need to ensure that this particular solution provider, what is the scalability, what is the growth, and what is the cross-platform compatibility. So there are many factors which define whether we are going to a cloud with interest or we are forced. So most of the time it is based on the solutions offered by a particular cloud offering, and we are onboarding based on that. And I conclude by saying that it is not one rule fits for everyone, and it is case by case and based on the business, based on the industry, based on the compliance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Said. What I could take away, the one takeaway from your what you said is that we are forced. We don't have a choice. Even though being into IT and being the leaders, unfortunately or fortunately, we don't have a choice. So, we have to adopt it. So that's what I understood. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, question goes back to Kumar. What are the misconceptions about multi-cloud adoption hinder? I mean, what do you think? We have a kind of any misconceptions in adopting multi-cloud, and is it the showstopper for us to implement multi-cloud?
Question. So now I'll take this question from a from practical implementation point of view, Mr. Suhail. So when you talk about a typical critical infrastructure implementation, why? Because this is an area where the cloud consumption is supposed to be very, very high. So basically, you have consumption from all the sectors, from the public, from the private, from the hybrid, from your internal on-prem infrastructure. So all of these actually consumption is very, very high. So I'm taking a very, very unique example. Now, one of the core, rather than calling myth, one of the challenges basically, which I already mentioned in my previous session, that the overall the change management strategy which has to be followed is not very well percolated inside the chemistry of the organization. So now when I talk about the change management, so that kind of I should say that kind of resistance to change, or an absence of I should say senior management or executive sponsorship is something, one of the challenges which become is something which can be looked at. Now the myth here is that even if that is there, I mean, people are not going to adopt it. Now here the difference in the opinion is how well your change management leadership, a change management strategy is actually put in place, and how effectively you are periodically reviewing your whole strategy when you're doing the digital transformation with multi-cloud strategy framework. So second myth is all about the data portability and the data compatibility with multiple platforms, protocols, scenarios, applications, adapters, actuators. All these are the scenarios. Now, here's where I see that this challenge can be overcome by having a unified framework in which all the consultants, the way I mentioned before, all the consultants or the leaders or the technology leaders, they all have to come with a unified plan how to tackle these scenarios in a techno-functional manner. When you say techno-functional manner, it's about the functional use cases, and then creating the tech specs how those particular use cases can be combated. Myth number 3 is about the how the disaster recovery or the business continuity management can happen in case any of the scenarios we lose in a typical in a typical catastrophic situation. Now here is where the integrated BCM or I should say the integrated business continuity management strategy is also very, very important in terms of 3 reasons: to make sure that data sovereignty is in place, number 1. Number 2, that you are taking steps in terms of protecting your data from the different regulations and government the way mentioned by other fellow panelists. So those regulatory boxes are properly checked, and there is a periodic audit of these scenarios. Point number 3 is, once you have already done that, how well your simulation steps are taken care.
I think Kumar is freezing.
Is that
So Suhail, you can take over.
Kumar, we have a difficulty in hearing you. I'll just add what Kumar was saying. See, Kumar, you are not audible. Your voice is not clear. Well, I would like to add a point. Like the question which I asked Kumar was like, what are these myths around which could hinder multi-cloud adoption? See, one of the things which I have learned throughout my career in Saudi Arabia and UAE is that I have a very good strategic partnership with so and so. I'll not name the company, and I'm always going to get a good discount. And then the problem is like this is one of the biggest myths where you tend to put all your eggs into one basket. This is, and then what if the pricing strategy of that particular company changes? You might end up, you might not have a space to exit. There might not be an exit plan. The second part is like my service provider has the best team. They can give me all kind of solutions like SaaS, PaaS, IS, everything. Well, that's the second myth. Not everyone is a good fit for all the roles, and not every vendor will have a good solution for all kind of services. And that's what we have learned. I mean, that like and third thing is like my team is my cloud vendor team is up to date. They're getting knowledge. They are adopting the technology very faster. Well, that might not be the case. You might be the only customer. I hope that's not the case. But most of their revenues are coming from companies like you and so and so. If you're a large group of company, and they might not at the back end, they might be losing a customer. So always need to have a backup. So this is see it the more you adopt, the in current world, no one can be a best fit for all the jobs. So that's what I understand. If Dr. Samir, Syed, or Waqar, you would like to add something, Kumar, you are back, but I can still see your network is a bit slow. But try to speak up, and we would like to hear it from you.
So I'm not sure what was till what point you I was able to mention that. So major myths were around the executive management, the way you mentioned the executive management sponsorship and leadership towards synchronizing the whole techno-functional specs for any kind of digital transformation, employing the multi-cloud strategies, where there is a marriage between the several interfaces, protocols, systems and subsystems, and also the applications. So that's one of the thing. The way you mentioned the one fit size, for all sizes. So that's one of the thing. Second is how you have an integrated business continuity management for your multi-cloud strategy, in which if anything goes wrong with any of the scenarios, how you take care of the whole business use cases, again, from a techno-functional perspective. And number three is definitely how the whole risk mitigation areas and mitigation steps are periodically audited, and they are brought into the corporate strategy so that the operational strategy can be seamlessly chalked out. So these are the three main areas which I wanted to add from my side. Unfortunately,
Thank you very much, Kumar, for giving your insight. Waqas, since you are based in Saudi and you deal with a lot of what do you call, you are aware of the PDB-LP law which has already been implemented. What do you think the data residency law in both the countries in UAE and Saudi will impact the cross-border data transactions and within the multi-cloud environment? Like suppose a company is trying to build a data center in Saudi, but he would like to have a DR in UAE or anywhere else. And what if we want to go with a one cloud provider which is in Kingdom, and the backup we would like to have a secondary cloud of a different company in UAE or anywhere else, or even Bahrain or UAE? So I would like to hear it from you, since you manage a large enterprise setup and you are aware of this, specifically the sensitivity of on the PDP-LP.
Thank you, Suhail. It's a very nice question. Actually, it's really interesting because to manage the organization, cross-border data transfers and other things is really a challenge these days. You know, with the strict data residency and sovereignty laws in the Saudi Arabia, including UAE. For example, our enterprise is working across borders in Middle East and across other countries. So you have to comply with the regulations, the privacy PDPL laws, and a lot of things are involved. So there are some factors. You know what we done and what the other companies are right now. They are doing is they are adopting the hybrid environment, as I mentioned earlier, which help us to comply with these standards. What's going on? You have to do number one, data segmentation, okay, and classification. What I mean is that you have to classify the data which is sensitive, which you want to keep it in on-prem, and then what type of data you can transfer across the border, across the region. Okay, it can be financial, it can be this framework can be implemented on a healthcare, on a government, or even some marketing companies. They are adopting this, but they have to comply with the regulations, PDPL, SEMA, and other regulations. So this is one of the important factor. And there is another thing which the companies are adopting, especially on the cloud regional cross-border transfer, is the tokenization. Okay, this is one of the ideal methodology which companies are adopting, and this will really helps even AWS, Microsoft, Oracle. They are helping the companies for adopting such kind of a compliance and framework to transfer the data. And I give you one small scenario and an example. There's an application running in a cloud, okay, and it is connected on-prem. And what you can do, you can allow the public to use the application publicly, but the data will be available on-prem within the country, within KSA or UAE or any other Gulf country. And any data will be transport or regularized locally. So the end users will be only accessing the application in the cloud. So you have a hybrid environment, you have a scalability, you have other factors which are already there. So cross border data transfer and with the regulations for the countries will stand there. This will be the a straightforward answer for this question. All right.
Thank you very much, Waqas. What I can understand, what I am able to hear from you is like if we do a data segmentation, so just make sure that not all data flows outside the border, the boundaries of the border. Of course, it can flow within the multi-cloud environment within that particular country, but it does not goes out. So the key over here is like the more you understand your data segmentation, the more organized your data is, the more your data is manageable, not kept in a raw format where there's blind spots of everything. So basically, that is the way you need to manage your cloud cross data, cross border
Cross
data.
border, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I would like to ask Mr. Samir. The question is like, what do you think that the regulations of CITC and cloud computing affects the vendor selection? Since in Saudi Arabia they are more focused on getting the local vendors. They're pushing towards the localization. What do you think that the regulations of CITC and other will affect on the multi-cloud environment?
Yes, in fact, it's a very important issue, and since a few years we started hearing about this, and even I will talk about our personal experience when we are contracting with the government and we are delivering projects to the government, and then we started receiving, a questionnaire about compliance, which is new to us. Otherwise, we cannot continue with you. This is a new thing. They said we have to comply to certain rules, and then we can get the deal done with them. So hence the rise of the new strategies started in the private sector as well, and in the government sector. Now they are all following the what kind of compliance is needed from CITC framework, and even in Dubai, I think they have an Dubai International Financial Center also, Sama cloud framework. They have all these entities. They started pushing their compliance regulations to both government and private sector to comply with. So here we started looking at now we have two sides to look at. The vendor who's supplying us the cloud and their compliance to the local laws, plus us as users, either a government or public or a private sector, are we comply to these rules? Definitely, the data is very important. There is sensitive data which is has to be kept either on premise or in the country, and not allowed to be stored outside the country. That will include so many things, as we mentioned earlier. That like the medical data, the sensitive financial data, the sensitive personal data, and some other data which is in the between the government and the local entities. So here we have the local region providers. They comply to these rules, and now we witness even the service providers like AWS and Google and Oracle, and they're opening in the region now as well, and they are trying to comply as well to the regulations of CITC and the other regulatory bodies in the either in UAE or in KSA. So this will lead us to know that the increase in the complexity of this vendor, and it's that will lead vendor management. We need now vendor management. In between, we have to look at what we are going to do. We have complex cloud, and we have to mix and match between these clouds, what data to keep in, what data to keep out, and are we gonna comply to these things. I hope this will just give insight on how we are handling these regulatory frameworks and how we are looking at them. From in a nutshell, we will speak in two two sections. One side is the service providers, which are either international or local, and us as a provider, as a customers to those multi-cloud. And then we can use the hybrid cloud now. So we will mix and match with them, and then we will look at their compliance and regulation. Are they complied to the regulations? If not, we cannot use it. We can use this one. We can use some of their services here, and some of their services we cannot use it. And here we can go to have a better decision. I wish this will
Dr. Smith, thank you very much. Dr. Smith, thank you very much. I would like to just add a bit more onto this particular area. Is like, since those companies are coming into local market, for me, for them to adopt to a local, they need to adjust it. Now, one of the challenges will be the adoption to a local culture. And moving forward from here, I would like to understand from Kumar, what are the multi-cloud strategy which are aligning with the Vision 2030 and UAE Digital Government Strategy of 2025?
So there are few things which are in my mind, which I am seeing on a practical scenario how it's happening. One is the first strategy which we have been spearheading is regarding the data consolidation approach that we have taken for the business modernization or the legacy modernization that we are talking about. So when we are talking about a typical legacy modernization, we are talking about creating the right kind of the scale up strategy for the organization's entity to actually have a centralized data quality management or centralized data governance, and how their legacy systems can be cloudified if they are not, or they can be stored on different applications, and how they can be operated from a cloud scenario perspective. So that's one from a data consolidation point of view. Second is more from the data governance side. The way I mentioned is especially creating, usually when we go for a typical major large scale mission critical projects, we are looking at a very clear cut data governance strategy, and also the how responsible AI can really be implemented, especially in terms of ethical, we call it ethical digital transformation. So that's second area basically, which is as per the vision of KSA 2030, and definitely about the UAE 100 years vision. So it aligns with that. Point number three is actually creating the right set of resources in terms of the teams, and all the onshore, offshore, and also the support teams, and the SLA, the various kinds of SLA levels, and the the we call it risk categorization, or something like a risk taxonomy, and how we are actually having the risk scoring or risk balance scorecard to have an integrated scenario of how to fix the challenges related to multi-cloud strategies implementation. And last but not the least is definitely the kind of campaign, the leadership campaigns, I should say bottoms up or top down approach, in actually percolating the thought process of the true digital transformation, and what it means, and what are the various kinds of changes required in a 360-degree manner to have the right set of implementations. So these are the key four areas which I want to accentuate from Vision 2030 point of view. So I think this is how we have been practicing so far.
Thank you very much, Kumar. I would now, in a quick, since we have already 1 hour, we have 7 minutes left. I would like to ask Said, What do you think? Do we, the IT department or the IT heads still prefer hyperscale, or they are planning to move towards a hyper cloud, hybrid cloud or multi-cloud environment? What is your input? I mean, since you are the person who's there on the ground, not into regulations, but of course you need to get your things done. What do you prefer? Hyperscale or go hand over everything to the cloud provider and let him take care of it? So,
Well, actually, this almost like a continuation to my previous question, what you asked. Most of the time, the scenario is different from organization to organization, and the private, hybrid, or the complete public cloud, it totally depends on what is the payload, what we are trying to move it to the cloud. And when we are trying to assess whether the cloud is suitable for us or the private cloud or on-premise, most critical is the organization's nature, whether it is a private entity or is it a public entity or is it a bank, financial institution, or is it something under NCA. So there are different regulations and the frameworks to be followed for every individual. So nowadays, what is happening is these cloud providers and the solution providers, they don't want to lose the business, and they have very intelligently added certain offloading capabilities. I can tell one of the solution which we recently implemented. It will use the complete hyperscaling capabilities from the cloud outside the country, and no data will be going out of the country. So the on-premise or the local cloud-based appliance, which will be an interface, a gateway between the two locations, and it takes care of the complete data encryption or data residency requirements. So in reality, the external cloud is only giving the engine, but the actual activities are happening on the local appliance. And if you look at the regulatory compliance related to PDPL, it very clearly says that your customer related information needs to be inside the country. So any applications, for example, your support ticket management systems or the CRM solutions, whether it is private or public, if you are handling customer, the rule is same. So the solutions are available beyond hybrid. Okay, there are different middleware appliances available, and more importantly is the end user needs to be vigilant with the cloud operator to ask them, even if the cloud hosting is within the country, they need to explicitly express that they are not going to replicate or make a copy of this instance to elsewhere, because there was a case which I heard that they went into a cloud solution, and when the implementation went live and when the audit was happened, they observed that the backup was happening elsewhere, and the end customer was not aware. So the cloud service provider said this is our standard. So whether it is standard or not, we need to have everything documented and understood, because at the end, when the firefighting happens, it is only going to burn us, not the cloud service provider. And AWS, Azure, GCP, I understand they are all going to be here soon, and Google is already available here. But one of the insight what I have understood is, even though Google is having their data center in Saudi, the GenAI capabilities are processed from their primary facilities outside Saudi. So if someone is trying to use the GenAI capabilities, they need to segregate the data element and the processing element. And when you are trying to do the processing without moving the data, it is impossible. So we need to see what we are talking about. Is it practically possible? Either we can scale the hyperscalers on our own, it's not possible to the extent of a GenAI capabilities. But the local cloud service providers are really gearing up to the situation. And there are many local service providers who have very scalable solutions. But you cannot compare those data centers to Azure or AWS or Google. But still, it depends on the size of the load what you are going to operate. So therefore, it is the decision based on the business size and also the risk appetite and the organizational needs. Thank you, Suhail.
Thank you very much, Saeed, for giving an insight of it. Now, well, he did raise an alarm, but regarding the cloud service product replicating the data, my understanding is that it might not happen into Google or Azure. Of course, I agree with the point that yes, the Gen AI and all these other features concern is always there because they are bringing only a data center. They're not guaranteeing you that all these technologies which they have it, which they built over
Well, I
top.
just want to correct here. What I'm trying to say is, if you are onboarding a cloud,
Yeah.
we need to explicitly ask the service provider
Exactly.
and let him declare that he's not going to replicate. If you don't make this happen, they have rights to move anywhere because they want to make sure their 99.99% SLA is met.
Said I got the message. So that's what people like me who are into audits, who come in, who will check it out, who will go through your all your contracts and ask you where is it, and if some breach like this or a data replication is happening, we will always look into the contract between the IT department and the Google cloud provider. I totally agree with you. But what was alarming for me that there was a backup going on, and the company said that yeah, it's their policy. But again, that goes down to a complete cloud governance or the enterprise architecture, as it was pointed out by a gentleman. So it's all depends that how do you draft, how do you have your self protected through a proper legal documentation and the contraction. My question, this raises a concern related to zero trust, which I would like to ask Waqas. What do you think that, what are the concerns and how do you implement the zero trust across multi-cloud when you're in Saudi as well as outside? What is your input on it, Waqas?
Thank you, Suhail. It's a very wonderful question and interesting also. Zero trust security is one of the key factor right now, and it's talk of the town again. This is related to the security governance and risk management as well, as you know it. And implementing zero trust security in a multi-cloud environment is one of a challenge actually, because it has many factors. And again, if you are talking about the multi-cloud environment in compliance with the strategy of what these countries are specifying, for example, NCA, and if you talk about TDRA, they are completely focused on the enterprise companies, government, including government. They are even popping up if you have a small attack on something. They will comply and they will say, okay, guys, you did not comply. And what about your segmentation or micro segmentation, or what kind of a IAM, PAM solution, or data protection you have? What about the threat resiliency and the cloud operation, what you have? So it's one of the key factor which is right now in place technically. What we are using, for example, in our company, we are now using AI capabilities, all right? And this will really help us to mitigate such issues, because even if you have a 24-hour SOC, you cannot rely on what kind of a threats you are monitoring. So you need to comply and you need to adopt a zero trust cloud security model. I will give you some areas. For example, you have AI driven threat monitoring should be there. Number one. Number two, micro segmentation means isolating workloads and networks within your organization, or if you are running hybrid with the multi-cloud environment. So these CSPs nowadays, they mention that if you are providing us the opportunity to drive your data within our system, we are capable of giving you an information that one of your application or something is having an advanced threat which we have prevented using an AI driven model. All right. So then there is another topic within the zero trust is the least privilege access. And then we have a continuous authentication or authorization should be available on the multi-cloud environment, because multi-cloud environment, you must have to see what kind of a IAM is managing. So you must have this area separated from the other framework, because using IAM and SSO or PAM solutions should be aligned with your current multi-cloud authentication system model. So it should be adopted and properly implemented. Otherwise, we will be in a very alarming situation. So you have to protect your data, okay? You have to see what kind of a compliance are there. You have to see what kind of a data encryption you're using on the storage itself. Now, there is another part about the storage. When you're talking about the storage, there's a cloud native security models are there from AWS, for example, or Azure. They are using CSPM or CWPP or any other DLP model, like Google is using DLP, data classification and encryption, for specifically for the data on rest or data which is alive. So you need to check all these compliances for when you are implementing the zero trust model in a multi-cloud infrastructure. All right. Thank you, Suhail.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask Dr. Sameer on the MSSP. What do you think? What is the since we are already having the international providers as well as the MSSP, how do you manage those those data centers across these different what do you call this different cloud environments? Dr. Sameer?
Yes, thank you for this question. In fact, security and the cyber security and this security topic is another hot thing going on, and we can see so many strikes and targets targeting this area. In fact, it's so huge, so tremendous that it happened that I was exposed to some of the numbers which are in millions every day. Imagine having a multiple cloud solution or hybrid cloud also. This will give a stress to the IT departments there, and we need help definitely with these issues. Focusing on the security part now, we assume that we should contract with the entities who specializes in this security. You know, the security services providers. These are the organizations which we should contract with them, because they will help us in that is their core business, and maybe they have been exposed to different make what I can call it in different setups in the clouds, in either Azure or Google or Oracle or AWS, and maybe the local providers. Maybe they have access to them, and they have gone through their systems, and they will help us in the implementing the security properly to comply with the CITC framework, SAMA framework, and the Dubai Financial Center framework, or what. That's what I am preferring, actually. We cannot handle it ourselves fully. We need assistance in that. That will keep us also, if we contract the local providers, the security service providers, they will actually look at also the cultural alignment. We align, because in this KSA and UAE we have different cultures, and that has to be met as well, to be taken care of with the security. And they will give us also a focus on the localization of the data. because that is one of the key features as well we are looking at. And the specialized what you call it, enterprise multi-cloud environment. Now here they will kick in, and then will help us to take the decision what to do and where to do, and what data to keep in and what data to keep out, keeping in perspective the security. Local now taking part when we look at this all setups, again the cost efficiency will rise up in our agencies or in our as a users. Now we have to look at it. I assume these security service providers, they will help us to minimize our cost as well, since they will know what to do or help us to take decision and what to do about the security while selecting hybrid clouds or in setup or multi-cloud setup, what we call it. So this is a challenges we need to address, and work closely with these organizations to achieve the security. I assume this will answer the question. And
Thank you very much, Dr. Sameer. It was a very productive session. One quick question before I go to another audience. Since you have very extensive experience, where do you see the in next 5 years the environment of multi-cloud, or are we going to go back to the silos, or we are going to expand it beyond the borders? Where do you see multi-cloud adoption going in and the technology evolving
well,
around the UAE and KSA market?
Yeah, I actually really have deep thoughts about this. With the emerging of AI now, we cannot predict, that how fast or where we are going after 1 year, not 5 years even. Yes, we have vision that everything or our life will be on the cloud. Definitely that would be the trend by then. But unfortunately, with the or I don't know what to say, with the emerging of AI and interference of AI in everything, including starting from your personal life till huge businesses we are handling. uh, uh, we cannot, predict the speed and the direction, because we are getting surprised by every few weeks, or rather than which was taking few months or few years to develop, and we just reach to that level. Now it's happening within weeks, and this is, something alerting, and we have to keep up. It keeps pressure on us as an IT team to keep on updating and always following up the AI models and how it interacts with our clouds. This I hope this will add a little bit insight, and thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Dr. Sameer. Well, that's a very true fear, I'll tell you. Dr. Sameer pointed out a very concerning issue, that the amount of data which is going to come in, how we are going to manage it. That's like the concern, the nightmares of the ITs will be the data. Now, to help to manage those data, you need to make sure that, as Waqas said, you need to know where is your data and what is the what level of protection does it requires. Coming back to a similar question, Said, I would like to ask you, what do you see that the challenges, as Dr. Saveer pointed out, of course, the data is one of the challenges, the multifold, the new technologies. We were never in a, what do you call, stand-up mode as in the past as we are right now due to AI. And we'd like to hear from you and Waqas as well as Kumar, even Sanjay can join in. What are the challenges of multi-cloud? Where do you see in future?
See, one of the key aspect when you are talking to your team that we are onboarding to a cloud, right? The first thing is they will have so many puzzles in their face, and asking them how are we going to manage the identity and access management, rights management across these clouds? How do you ensure? So every cloud solution provider like Oracle, they have one identity management. Google has their own. Azure has one. AWS has their own. But if you want to unify them to an organization's perspective, first we need to finalize a single identity and access management, and then that should be the master to onboard. And this is the one of the major challenge with the implementation team faces across all the organizations. But if the preparation and planning is done well, it's fine. And second thing is the challenges in terms of the cloud is as the cloud is becoming significantly bigger and bigger, and nobody understands what size it has grown. Over a period of time, when someone decides to divorce a particular service from a particular cloud and migrate to some another cloud, this migration needs to be really taken into consideration. Unless we have the disaster recovery management or high availability across two different service providers, it is very difficult if there is going to be a transformation or a transition going to happen. And as Dr. Samir rightly said, in the intervention of AI is there in every aspects of the data, every activity is happening. And what is the compliance and governance and controls in place in terms of managing it efficiently and bringing them with, like, you have a SIEM solution for alerts, logs management. Similarly, for the cloud-based solutions, in terms of the data, any kind of activities happening, anything, there should be some kind of an intelligence system. But still, we will be depending on AI to do it. But we need to understand how we are going to have better control to deliver assurance to the organization. This is very, very critical, because at the end, they are going to blame that it's handled by IT. It's not going to be blamed by anyone. So we need to have our rules very clear, the checklist very clear, and the rules of the games, even though we know there are many unknowns. So plan for the unknowns and prepare the risk mitigation. This is very critical. Thank you as well. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you very much. Waqas, you would like to add anything to it?
Yeah, actually, I was about to add something. It's very interesting, actually. Syed Faz actually has bringing something to my mind, which may be interesting to all the audience. For example, Microsoft has a solution called Sentinel. Okay, it will be working across the borders and also in the multi-cloud environment. It's one of the unique system, and as per the Gartner and as per other marketing techniques, they are the one. They say that we are number one in blah blah blah. Now, what's going on is that they are supposed to provide us the information based on what they have intelligently find out, including the XDR and EDR and also managed SOC services. For example, Google, AWS, they are also providing similar type of solutions. So this is one of the amazing thing for the end users or the customers to understand that if you are using some kind of a security based on AI framework, it needs to be identified and it needs to be implemented in a proper way. Otherwise, even if the AI based on any solution, for example, Fortinet is providing a FortiAI. It is very new in the market now, and it's an amazing solution. But again, as Dr. Samir mentioned before, and Mr. Said has endorsed, that we don't know where AI will take us, especially if we are talking about the cybersecurity and also the compliance and the regulations, because AI still not completely provide any regulations and privacy laws for the country. You are still publicly propagating your data, which is very sensitive, and your data is not safe anymore. Even on the handheld devices, you are connecting with your corporate or in a company on a Wi-Fi or anything, you are still publicly allow anyone to access your data. So AI should have some kind of a regulations in the country as like other frameworks. So this is one of the factor which has to be discussed and always has to be one of the key factor and point of discussion. All right, Suhail, uh, thank you very much.
So because we will have another great session on this, so you're giving me the hints of my PhD topic on
Yeah,
AI.
that's right.
So that's right. Yeah, I got the message. You know, it was done in a public place, but it was well said. Well, the whole thing is that how do you manage the governance of AI in terms of multi-cloud environment? We don't, one of the things which I've noticed is that irrespective of multi-cloud, we don't have a governance in place for AI. Of course, once we have a proper AI governance, we'll have a specific, with specifics to multi-cloud, which we need to build it up on top of it. I'll consider this one of the topics. Thank you very much for giving me that lead on the public forum. It's my honor and my pleasure. From taking this opportunity and listening to such a wonderful personality, Waqas, Dr. Samir, Kumar, Mr. Said Fakhruddin, I'd like to conclude over here. See, and one word. I'll not use one word. Apologies. See, the future is that we have to adopt multi-cloud, irrespective of where we are. We cannot afford to have our own data centers. I mean, gone are the days where, going down to a cloud was expensive, and nowadays getting a resource and making him sit in the office will be much more expensive and tedious job. Let the specialist people do their own job. Being the IT leader, it's our role to create the right governance, as Vikas pointed out, AI governance, multi-cloud governance, AI into multi-cloud governance. Our role is to create the strategic and make the strategic decision and let the specialists do the job. Of course, our role as the specialist, we need to give input to the market, to the vendors through such webinars, through Enterprise IT World magazine, and whatever way we can do it, and make sure that they adopt what we require, not we are being dictated by the vendors. So it should be the customer. Of course, we are foregoing the privilege of having a data center. We are giving away, but of course, in return, we need to have the governance or the say on the to the features which the cloud providers will be building it up. So that's all from my end. Thank you very much, Sanjay, for organizing such an event. It's my honor, my pleasure always to have a session with you.
All right, thank you, Suhail. There is a question. Question is about just a sec. Yeah, there is a question about skill sets. You mentioned about MSPs who will be
Yes.
helping you, sizing and doing everything, assisting you.
Hmm.
But what about your internal skill sets? If you do not have internal skill set, if there is paucity, who will manage the MSP? That's the number one thing.
Hmm.
That's question coming in. The other one is a risk of shadow IT. So many departments, so many clouds. You do not know. I mean, at times you see, your colleagues in other departments, they are subscribed to certain cloud for their usage. So what is the kind of governance when you are talking about governance? What is that framework that you need to adapt to restrict? There is no unauthorized access or download or anything. That's a common thing these days.
Yeah. So, Said, you would like to answer regarding the management of multi-cloud and these skill sets?
Most of the requirements related to managing multi-clouds, it is difficult to possess in an organization as the internal capabilities. It is always better to engage and outsource through managed services because the skill set of AWS is different, Azure is different, Google is different. So we need to identify a partner who will be having multi-skill sets in his team. And always from the compliance perspective, we should have the super admin controls in our managing our cloud. But for the support and maintenance, we definitely need to have skill sets which are specialized. And it is difficult for every individual organization to have them on board. And there are many in the industry, but we need to make sure You assess and evaluate what are your requirements and what are the capabilities and go with the right fit. I will not recommend just go with references. Also go with, I can tell you my experience with one of the vendor who was for the AWS, where we were referred directly by the AWS, but he was not good. Then we went to different vendor who was having more technical cross-functional capabilities across the clouds because we wanted to migrate from one cloud to another cloud. So the MSSPs, you need to be very careful in assessing what skills and capabilities they possess, and also do not go with a single individual resource whom they bring on board, because you cannot guarantee that individual resource is going to stay forever. So organization has to deliver to the organization. It should not be individual to individual. When you are talking about multi-cloud, have this properly aligned in your scope of work, RFPs, and then go ahead. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, Mr. Said, I just want to endorse something here. The sizing does matter. So, when you are talking about the skill set, you also need to be consider the sizing. For example, a lot of companies now facing an issue when they are moving their on-prem environment to the multi-cloud. They need to check what kind of resources we have, which we need to transfer over there. So other than the skill set, there's a lot of calculators, a lot of websites, a lot of even individual professional services provider. They are saying that, okay, we can resize your environment, and then you can go ahead with the multi-cloud provider, MSPs or CSPs. So this is a very nice way. I always mention to the people that what kind of infrastructure, physical infrastructure you have, just make a slice of it. Yeah, and you will have the sizing. Because when you are going towards the cloud environment, you should just consider the half of the environment to go over there and keep hybrid, so you will not face issues on regulations, on security, or anything else. So don't completely rely and put your data on the cloud infrastructure itself. This is one of my essence and my experience. I just wanted to add here. Thank you very much.
Yes, I agree with it. We do have, the challenge. What kind of resources? Well, the resources job is to manage those multi-clouds. Of course, we cannot afford to have a specialist from AWS and GCP. Well, what will happen in that case? What about a gentleman comes in, he gains a certification in Google Cloud, GCP. Well, he needs to also have some kind of skill sets on Azure. He also needs to have some kind of skill sets on Alibaba. And can we, as an organization, as the department head, can we afford all these things? And what if tomorrow he leaves? Are we binding him? No, we cannot bind him. Remember, this is one of the biggest challenge of multi-cloud. Yes, your resource, you can train him, you can build him. If he's willing to invest on himself, well, good enough. The right way to manage it is like if you have, the PAM solutions or IAM, divert their skills to those areas where they have a centralized platform to manage those platforms in terms of, the administration work. To build specialists, well, you might end up losing the resource much quicker than anticipated. Instead of that, we might go with these dedicated companies, as Said pointed out. Now, even though those companies, it will be ultimately their responsibility to ensure that the resource is available 24 by 7, 365 days. Coming back to shadow IT, of course, it's all about IT, your governance, your cloud governance, your information security governance, IT governance. Now, Waqas, you would like to add anything, the concern related to IT, shadow IT?
Sure. All right. This is something very interesting. The shadow IT actually, is one of a very nice thing that you can have your environment, as I mentioned earlier, that you must have to implement your infrastructure in a shadow environment. Means you have to keep the infrastructure, part of the infrastructure, in a classified manner on-prem, and then you can keep the data on the cloud. So multi-cloud environment is always be there, and you can have your risk and compliance will be in place. This means that any regulations which are complying you to have the shadow IT can be adhere if you are going hybrid. Okay, and I keep insisting this one always that, uh, for example, technically, even if you have a business continuity or if you have a disaster happen, you can easily recover with the shadow IT. And shadow IT, there is another factor of skill set. For example, if you are using 10 people in a resource, and then if you are going towards the shadow IT, you can remove most of the resources, and instead of removing from them from the job, you can engage them with something else. You can add up some more functionality. You can add them to use some more other tasks and some other sensitive information, not only for the security. It can, in under IT you have many verticals, so shadow IT is one of the amazing solution nowadays. A lot of companies are working on. I will give you an example. Google has just recently launched one of a project in San Francisco for the shadow IT. They are actually engaging approximately 100 people that, okay, if we are using you as a resource, what kind of tasks and projects you can work on. And just for an instance, what they have done is, because of the shadow IT, they have engage more resources. What is the meaning of this? That people are not losing their job. Actually, they are finding more jobs, more job opportunities because of the shadow IT. That's what I wanted to add up here. Thank you,
Thank you
Suhail.
very much. I think we already taken too much time.
Let's conclude here. I'll send this to the attendees. So this is a regular process that they will get this and they will send it back to us. Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Waqas. Thank you, Kumar. Thank you, Mr. Said. It was always a pleasure.
Thank you
Praise
very
all
much.
mine. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate,
you.
guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Take
Let's
care.
wrap up here. Thank you. And hope everybody must have a good takeaway from this. This has been a really very engaging conversation around so many things, so many complex things around multi-cloud. Thank you.